Hey, it's Christine with Storyworthy. Today on the show, animator, podcaster, and the owner of New Pod City, Frank Sasso, talks about the dark side of Disney.
They fly me down to Florida. I get off the plane. I see these two guys. Imagine an agent from The Matrix and one of the Men in Black characters. I get into a Jeep Wrangler. We go off-road now. Now we're off a highway, and we're going down this other kind of a paved road, and then it gets to a more of a non-paved road, and then they pull over, and they ask me to put on a blindfold. I'm like, am I going to be whacked? Like, well, I don't know what to think. It wasn't funny then. I was crapping my pants.
Today on the show, animator, podcaster, and the owner of New Pod City, Frank Sasso, talks about the dark side of Disney. Stay close.
Hey, my name is Frank Sasso, and you are listening to Storyworthy.
Welcome to Storyworthy. My name is Christine Blackburn, and I'm coming to you from Los Angeles, California. Whether you're a longtime fan of the show or a new listener, if you're a new listener, you have a lot of catching up to do. Either way, you guys, welcome to Storyworthy. Now, I hope you enjoyed the show last week with comedian Bruce Baum. Bruce Baum, boy, he's old school. He was doing comedy with Carlin and Richard Pryor, and Bruce Baum was like the deal in the 70s and 80s, and he did a lot of game shows. He was like on Match Game and Password and all these different game shows. And so his story last week was very cool. It was called, we called the story Game Show Scandal, and it was about him doing this show, Super Password, and the regular person he was with, who was with him, like Bruce is a celebrity, right? Right, Frank? Bruce is a celebrity, yes. And he's with another guy. The guy he's with, he wins the show, right? But he ends up, they want him for like murder in another state.
Really? Jeez.
Yeah. And next thing you know, they have to, track this guy down. And anyway, it was Bruce's partner. And for a while, they kept showing just Bruce's face and his face on the Password game. And you didn't know which one was the criminal. Anyway, you guys, it was super funny. Go back, listen to Bruce Baum. But not today. Not today. Because today I'm here with a really interesting guy who I met a couple of months ago in Nashville at Podcast Movement, which is a big convention for nerds. I mean, podcasters. And that's where I met my guest today, Frank Sasso. And he is the owner of New Pod City, which is a podcast network in New Jersey. And in fact, the only podcast network in New Jersey.
That's right.
So it's kind of cool.
No, we're the only podcast hosting company in New Jersey.
Yeah, hosting company. Yeah, exactly. And it's pretty cool. And you were there in Nashville with a lot of people from your company, like a team, and we ended up having a lot of fun and laughing an awful lot. So I said, you know who has a lot of good stories? Frank Sasso. I'll bet you. I'll bet you. And sure enough, he does. And today he brings forth the topic. What did we decide to call it?
The dark side of Disney.
The dark side of Disney. No, I love this so much, the dark side of Disney. This is a great topic because
you came up with the title. You keep asking me what are we calling it.
I know, but you told me the idea of the story, and it's about Disney, the dark side of Disney, and it just makes me laugh because my Alabama's dad and I, we purposefully.
Wait a minute, your daughter's name is Alabama?
Yeah, my daughter.
Your daughter's name is
not my ex-husband. No.
No, I didn't think your ex-husband's name was Alabama. But you named your daughter Alabama?
I did.
That's so cool.
All right. Okay. Thank you very much.
I thought I misheard you. I think that's great. I love that name.
Yeah, so do I. Anyway, so Bama and what were we talking about?
You said your daughter and your ex-husband. Your daughter Alabama and your ex-husband, and then you were going to say something.
Right.
Does this show get edited by any chance?
No, I'm not going to edit
great.
this. This is gold. This is gold. No, I was going to say that Matt and I, we purposefully did not introduce Alabama to Disney when she was a little girl. So when she was growing up, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, we never did the princess thing. We didn't put those shows on. We just tried to, we weren't really avoiding it, but yes, we were avoiding it just because of, getting so wrapped up in it, and we know how much money can be put out and stuff.
Right.
So we kind of avoided it, and we were successful. Like, her birthday parties were always like a puppy party or a fishy party or a kitty cat party, dinosaur party, stuff like that.
Right.
Oh no, those were mine. No, those no, those were hers. But now she got into Disney hard when she was like 11. And now she goes to Disney. She wants to be there. She goes like 4 times a year. She's got like her best friend's dad works there, so he's on a pass. So now they just kind of whisk their way in there. Right. They meet up with friends. It's like we used to go to the stop and go on the corner and meet friends.
Right, yeah,
My daughter goes to Disneyland.
To meet up with friends.
Yeah, like she's going to Starbucks.
Well, now, wait a second. You have a Disneyland and you have a Disney World.
Well, the World one is in, Florida.
That's in Florida.
The much bigger one. And
okay,
Disneyland,
but how far is Disneyland from you?
For me, like 40 minutes, very short. Okay. 35 minutes. Right, it's just down the 5. It's really very close. Right. And so it's not a big deal for kids just to go to Disney for the day. And they don't have to go for 12 hours. They go for whatever.
Yeah.
The point is, my daughter fell straight into it, and now, like, I'm not even fighting it. I don't even try to fight it. That's who she is, and she loves, all the shows, all the princesses, all the music.
Right.
And, I guess that's a good thing in a way because of the imagination and... I don't know, but I just inside, I just want to slap every one of those princesses. I want to kick those little princesses in the balls. Well, sorry, I just kicked my thing.
Gosh,
I know, I kicked
down.
my soul.
You need to chill out a little bit there.
I know, but when I see, the plot lines, somebody dies in the first 3 minutes of the films.
Yes.
And then the princess and then the guy, and it's always...
Yeah, they come into their own.
Yeah. And then that's just the one side of it. The other side of it is the theme parks, which are, like, to me, the most contrived, creepy things ever.
Oh,
and I've shared on my show before that one time I was in Disney years ago. This is like 25 years ago. And I remember just being so blown away how clean it was and asking an employee, where does all the trash go? And she looked at me right in the face and she's like, there is no trash in the Magic Kingdom.
That's right.
And
it's
I'm
like a bunch of Stepford wives walking around.
God, what is happening?
It's bizarre. It's bizarre.
Yes, so I am very excited to hear your story.
There are no mosquitoes in Disneyland either. You think I'm joking?
How'd they get rid of them?
They spend like billions of dollars that when you walk into a Disneyland or Disney World theme, but there are no mosquitoes. No matter what time of year it is, no mosquitoes. They spray this stuff into the air, and it just takes care of it. I'm telling you, it's
even
very
like
it's fascinating, but very unnerving at the same time.
Very unnerving. Even at the one when you go on the Jungle Cruise, wouldn't that be mosquito
friendly? Yeah, the whole
friendly?
thing. If it's under the Disney brand, there are no mosquitoes. You can Google that. I'm telling you.
Do you remember a couple of years ago when this kid is on a Disney hotel property with his parents, a little boy, and gets dragged into the lagoon?
I do remember that.
And gets taken away by an alligator, and he was like 2, and the parents didn't even file a complaint.
Well, you're going against Disney. They're like worse than the mafia. At least the mafia kisses you before they whack you. Seriously.
Well, I can't. I know. I've heard there's a lot of underlying stuff. There has to be because of the size. I mean, it's
a monster. A monster. And
company.
I'm telling you, man, they just start gobbling things up. There's no originality. Like Snow White, the Seven Dwarfs, but there's no original. That's not a Disney story. Cinderella's not a Disney story.
Really? Where are they from?
It's just they bought all those. They bought all of those stories. They bought them all up. Yeah,
they
Beauty
bought
and the
them
Beast,
from...
that's not a Disney. The Little Mermaid, that's not a Disney story. Winnie the Pooh, that's not Disney.
I see, but they chose them. But they
sucked them up, they put their name on it, and now it's Disney.
Well, yeah, but look, you've got, like I'm with Podcast One is my hosting network for Storyworthy. And so they don't own all of me, but they own 50%.
They own 50% of your show?
Of the ads. No, just the ads revenue that I receive revenue.
But you receive the ad revenue from because of them, right?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. We only take 20%.
Well, most podcasting networks actually take about 40. Speaking
really?
of which,
40?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah,
Anyway.
I was with Wondery took 35 actually, but Westwood One took 40.
Oh,
and
really?
that left me and my co-host with 60, and that meant 30 each.
30%.
Each, yeah,
No,
that was tough.
We take 20, and then you keep 80.
Well, this is very interesting that you should bring this up because I did want to talk about New Pod City. First of all, your podcast hosting company, it's not just hosting. You guys do a lot of things.
Yes,
you do everything from producing and hosting to monetizing and distribution.
We do. We have a recording studio with video in it, with audio, the whole works. We are a hosting company. We're a distribution firm. We're a promotion facility, and we're a monetization hub.
Wow.
Those are the 5 things that we do. And,
plus, you have a lot of podcasts under your network as well that you are part of.
Well, I'm a part of 4 shows myself as a host, meaning not a host of like a hosting company, a podcast host, like you're a podcast host.
Right.
So I'm involved in like 4 shows as it is.
That's
but all the
amazing.
other shows that are on New Pod City, they host with us. But they're also now part of our NPC podcast network, where all those shows, they kind of work with each other. Some of the hosts go on other people's shows as guests, and they talk about their show, and then that show gets promoted on their show, and blah, 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 blah. Then we have a thing where New Pod City can, let's say, broker a deal. Like we just got Puma, right, as a sponsor for our network, and Shure microphones, which I'm using right now. SM7B, hello Shure. Anyway, so they give us a bunch of money, and we kind of disperse it throughout the network, and whatever other kind of perks like Puma gave us X amount of dollars, but they also gave all of the hosts that are part of that deal a pair of Puma sneakers, which is neat.
Oh wow!
That's
really
cool
nice.
stuff like that. So
that's very fun.
Yeah, so we also are starting to now get into brokering some sponsors for the network and for the company as well. So
New Pod City. This is such a fun idea, and I love when I met you in Nashville. Your business card made me laugh so hard because...
Why did my business card make you laugh?
Because it said Frank Sasso, mayor.
Right. Frank Sasso, mayor.
You're the
New
mayor.
Pod City. Cities have mayors. What's the problem? Not everything is a
not
joke,
a problem.
all right, comedian?
It's just funny.
God.
Because you are such a self-made man. And
Thank you.
It's a good thing.
I've gotten fired from every job I've ever had. I better be a self-made man.
No, but your company's doing really well. And I love how you just say they give us a bunch of money, we throw it around. And then, no, but it's true. You want all ships to rise. And I think it's a really good resource, New Pod City. I just joined my network, so I'm not moving right now. But
none of our ships have anchors on them, if you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, that's interesting.
So they're free to sail. They're free to go and do whatever they want to do. We have a couple of loose points that we like them to adhere to, but for the most part, there's no contracts. It's month to month. You can leave anytime you want. I don't like being part of locked into a contract. I'm not going to hold somebody to a contract either. So
wow, that's nice of you. And you don't have to. And you don't have to live in New Jersey to be on your network.
No, we're all over the world.
That's exciting. Yeah, that's awesome. That's really great. Well, I'm really glad you're here, Frank, and I can't wait to hear about the Disney story. But before we get to your story, I did want to talk about Story Smash, the storytelling game show. We're still going strong at the Hollywood Improv once a month. Next show is November 27th, so you can do your Thanksgiving thing and then bring the family on down to Story Smash. I'm telling you, we laugh our ass off. I see people crying in the audience in a good way, and it's just a blast. So go over to StorySmashShow.
Oh, my God.
So
go over to storysmash.com. Is that it?
No.
What is it?
See, it's storysmashshow.com.
Okay, go over to storysmashshow.com right now, today. Don't waste a minute. I don't care what you're doing. Phone the friends, lock the doors, whatever you got to do. Get on that website now.
And you can also follow Story Smash over on Instagram at Story Smash.
Yeah.
All right,
love
you
that
guys.
show. I love Story Smash. And by the way,
so
fun. Willie Garson that you had on your show from Sex and the City. Yeah. It's so funny that me and I have something in common with his son.
What is that?
That Annie was the first Broadway show I saw, and it was the first Broadway show he saw. And what's really funny is I'm actually working now with HBO on Sex and the City, the reboot.
Oh my!
They hired me as New Pod City because I think Carrie has a podcast or something, and they want to make her seem like more of a real podcaster and have her look and feel the part. So because they're shooting over in Brooklyn and I'm in Jersey, and it was just like I'm like, oh my gosh! So when I heard Willie Garson on, I'm like, this is so cool. And how he kind of led up to meeting her and becoming friends with her, and
he's a really good man. He was a really, really great.
He seemed like a sweet guy.
Really great guy. Has a couple of restaurants, or had a couple of restaurants right up the street. I don't know what's going to happen there, but I don't know how he passed away either.
I know.
I mean, he was like 58, 57, not old at all. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, it was like Norm Macdonald too. I didn't even know he had cancer.
I know. I didn't either.
It's been a rough couple of weeks with that stuff.
But I'll be honest. I am a cancer survivor myself, and when I ever get it, God forbid I ever get it again. But if that ever happened, I would also keep it very private.
Would you?
Yes, I would. Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. I would not do the GoFundMe. I would not do the Facebook help me out. I feel bad. You feel bad for me. I just I would
I'm not saying you should or shouldn't. I was just
No, but I just feel like it's just so personal. And so I really respect when, Norm Macdonald passed away, and it's like, that's I don't know. Illness and stuff is like, it's just fucking nobody's business. It's nobody's
Chadwick
business.
Boseman too. Same type of thing.
Yeah, that's true. Wow.
Anyway, on that note, gee, we'll put this to a grinding halt. This comedy show.
You crack me up, man. Anyway, all right, you guys. So Frank Sasso, he is, you're a writer and a director and a producer and a podcaster and a promotional kind of a guy, but you also have this route, I don't think that's the word, but you used to do a lot of...
For the home team?
Animation,
yes, I used to be an animator.
And you were actually like a pencil draw, like before computers,
right, old school
in the 80s and 90s. You've got a pencil on a piece of paper,
and a penciler.
No, I didn't know that. I saw that in your bio. It's called a penciler.
Yes,
I know. That's a funny name. I didn't know that before.
Illustrator is more like the $100 word for it.
No, it's interesting. And you continue to use these skills because I know you've created a lot of logos and stuff at New Pod City. At least I saw a lot of cool logos.
Yeah, I do a lot of cartoons of the podcast hosts that need artwork done. We call them tiles.
Oh, I want one of those.
I wound up doing caricatures. I'll do a cartoon for you.
Oh, I like that. Fun.
Oh, yeah,
okay.
No
no. When you do a cartoon, do you just look at the person and then do the first thing that you see in them?
Here, just so you know.
Okay.
I need to set this up. Anytime somebody hires me to do a caricature of them or a cartoon, I say, here's what it is. It's $100, no refunds, no revisions. You don't like it? Too bad. You like it? Great. I don't care. And my buddy Will is always telling me, guys are okay with it, but women, man, they don't like those hard lines, man. I draw what I see. Draw what I see. Yeah. Don't ask me to do it. Because it may not be what you think you look like.
Isn't that interesting? I mean? Yeah, because I recently looked at myself in some photos, because especially Story Smash, a lot of photos are taken and I'm picking through them. And when I smile, you don't see my bottom teeth. You don't see them. Look.
I noticed that.
You don't see my bottom teeth.
You don't see your bottom teeth.
What the fuck? Where are my teeth? And I spent a lot of money on these teeth.
Well...
Anyway, and so I was thinking to myself, if anybody ever sketched me, they would not show me any teeth. I would look like a camel
now when I draw
mouth.
you, I'm going to give you an underbite.
either. No, I don't want an underbite either. Anyway, you do have a lot of different multiple talents, and you got a lot going on over there at New Pod City. So you guys can find Frank over at New Pod City. And do you do Twitter too, or you're not active?
Yeah, New Pod City is on everything. We
great.
just started a TikTok, which is
Smart.
I swore I would never do, and now I'm on that. So we're on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn, TikTok, and newpodcity.com. If you go to newpodcity.com, scroll to the bottom, they're all there.
Yeah, they're all there. You know, I have a story-worthy TikTok, but I'm not active on it. But at least I have my logo on there, and then I say on the logo, I'm active over there.
Yeah, that's fine. As long as someone can find you somewhere. Yeah.
All right, you guys, wherever you are, put your hands together for Frank Sasso.
Wow, hear that crowd. Thank you so much. Okay. The year was 1989. I was working for a company in Paramus, New Jersey, of all places. And I was working there as an animation director as well as a art director. But they were a television manufacturing company. And they were famous for making switchers. You normally would see a switcher in a control room of a TV show, and it's basically it kind of like, they have a bunch of cameras hooked up to it, and they hit a bunch of buttons, and every time you hit a button, it switches to another camera. So they would make these switchers. They also made this thing called the Graphics Factory 50, the GF50, and this was the first 3D modeling system for graphics and animation and stuff like that. They do a lot of news graphics, and you heard of a Chiron?
Yeah.
Chiron is a Chiron is the company. It's a character generator. So get the Chiron. It's like, get me a Kleenex. No, here's a tissue, right? Or a Q-tip. No, it's a cotton swab. So Chiron was just another name, a brand name for this thing. I don't want to say the name of the company. I don't know if I should or not, but it's regardless of that. So one of the clients that bought this GF50, it was very, very expensive, this thing. There were only two clients that owned one. One was in Amsterdam and one was in Florida. The one in Florida was Disney. Disney bought one from us. So me, being one of the only people that knew how to operate the thing, me and the owner of the company's daughter, they sent her to Amsterdam to train the client. They sent me to Disney to train them on how to use this thing in what they want to do. Fine, I'll go. Great. They fly me down to Florida, and here's where it starts. I get off the plane. I see these two guys. They are dressed. Now, I want you to imagine this, listeners. Story-worthy listeners, listen to me. I need you to imagine. Imagine an agent from the Matrix, okay, and one of the Men in Black characters combined. So if you can imagine a Matrix agent and a Men in Black guy together, like if they had a baby, it would look like this, right? They would look like a guy in a black suit with a white shirt, the sunglasses, the thing in the ear, the whole getup. I'm convinced this is where it was styled after these guys. I think Men in Black was styled after these guys. There's no question about it. But at the time, I never saw anything like that. And these two guys are standing there with a name, Frank Sasso, a card that says Frank Sasso. And I'm like, oh, cool. And I walk over to them and I said, hey, I'm Frank Sasso. And now I was heading to the baggage claim. I had to go to the baggage claim. So they said, just follow us, Mr. Sasso. And I'm like, well, I got to get my bags. Apparently, they had already gotten my bags. My bags were already in the car where they were bringing me.
Okay.
I go outside. I get into a Jeep Wrangler. There's one guy already sitting in there. So there were three guys, Men in Black, okay? 3 agents. I get in the Jeep. Surprisingly, my bag was in the back of the Jeep. And if you know anything about a Jeep Wrangler, there's not much room in a Jeep Wrangler. The fact that they had my bag already in there and I had my carry-on, I don't even know how that happened because I just got off the plane. The baggage claim wasn't even open yet. They already had my bag. Okay. Spooky enough. Okay. I'm in the car with these guys and we start driving. Now, I don't know, I guess they're taking me where I got to go. I don't know. And this is before The Big Lebowski as well. Just keep that in mind. If anybody saw The Big Lebowski, spoiler alert, it's a story about mistaken identity. Okay. We're in the Jeep. And I'm like trying to talk. I'm making small talk. Yeah, I'm from New York. I'm Italian. Yeah, I talk. You know what I mean? I talk to people. And I'm sitting in the back with one of these agents, and the 2 agents are in the front. One's driving, one's in the passenger seat. And I start cracking jokes. I'm trying to make small talk. How's the weather? That kind of thing. Nothing. I mean, I'm getting nothing. They're as cool as all get out there. They are so serious. They are staring straight ahead. They're not giving me the time of day. They are like rock solid, focused forward. Not nodding to me. None of that. Nothing. I'm talking to 3 statues, basically. I kid you not. I'm not exaggerating. There's no way to even design this story in a sense that it will make you think something more than what it was. I'm telling you, These guys were rock solid, stone-faced. Okay. And finally, I just give up. And now I'm starting to think, hey, I wonder if I'm even like the right guy. Maybe I'm a different Frank Sasso they're looking for. Like I started having those thoughts. Again, I'm Italian. I'm from New York. You know, you don't know your neighbors. You don't want to know your neighbors. You know what I mean? In New York, it's just how we are. It's like before COVID, we were already doing social distancing. This is nothing. This is nothing new. Okay. I'm like, no, you can stay right over there. I can hear you. You know, don't get in my face. So we get to this. Oh, I'm sorry. This is the one of the best parts. We go off-road now. Now we're off a highway, and we're going down this other kind of a paved road, and then it gets to a more of a non-paved road, and then they pull over, and they ask me to put on a blindfold.
What?
And they give me a blindfold, and they say, would you mind putting this on? I know, right? So I put the blindfold on, and I'm like, look, I'm just doing this. I'm doing this under duress. I just want that stated, not like it's being recorded or something. I just wanted to say it. I'm not a fan of doing this. I put a blindfold on. Next thing I know, we're going down the road, and now the road is getting more like rumbly under the Jeep, and I'm like, what the heck? I'm like, am I going to be whacked? Like, well, I don't know what to think. We finally stop. This is after about a good maybe 45, it was a little under an hour. We stop. You can take the blindfold off, Mr. Sasso. I take the blindfold off. And we're basically in like the middle of the woods. I'm not kidding. The middle of the woods with a road. And there's a house in front of us. Like a huge ranch-style, one-floor house. And I'm like, I am not freaking going in there. What the hell is this? So all 3 get out. They ask me to please wait there. They take my bag. They go inside. And I'm now in the middle of the woods in this Jeep in Florida. And it's like almost dusk. It's very creepy. I'm very scared. And I see, back in those days, we didn't have mobile phones yet. We didn't have cell phones, kids, okay? Only the rich people had a phone actually installed in their car, right? Only rich people had it. Well, this Jeep had a phone, an actual phone in the car. So I reach forward, I unclip it, and I dial my boss's phone number. I'm taking a chance. I don't have to dial any code. It's just, you just dial. So I call my boss Bob Webb, W-E-B-B. He passed away, unfortunately, but I'm getting his name out there. I don't care. Anyway, what are they going to do, fire me? Anyway, so I get this woman, Liz, hello, blah, 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 blah. I said, Liz, it's Frank, put Bob on. I don't care if he's in a meeting. It's an emergency, put him on the phone. He gets on the phone. He's like, hey, Frank. I'm like, Bob, listen, if I need to call my parents, let them know where I am. This may be my last phone call. I don't know what's going on. I'm in the middle of the woods with these dudes, and it's very scary, and I don't know what to... I'm, like, freaking out. He's like, oh, did you meet Jake? Ah, ha, ha, blah, 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 blah. I'm like, I don't know these guys' names, dude. I said, you don't understand. I think somebody else picked me up by mistake. I don't think I'm the right Frank Sasso. Because Sasso apparently is a common name. And, Frank isn't that, that... I mean, it's a common name too, Frank Sasso. I've met other Frank Sassos. I've met 2 other Frank Sassos, actually, in my life. So... my dad, not even being one of them, and he's a Frank Sasso, right? So there's more than one Frank Sasso. What are the odds? Okay, odds aren't that bad. So he goes, oh, don't worry about it, you'll be fine. I'm like, dude, I gotta go. I'm getting very nervous. I gotta go. So I hang up the phone. And now, about maybe 5 minutes later, the one dude comes walking out. Again, you gotta imagine, but he has the glasses on, he has the slick back hair, he has the black suit, the black hair, the whole thing, the ear thing, and the whole thing. He comes out and he goes, all right, Mr. Sasso, you can come in. And I'm like, oh, okay. And he goes, and by the way, if you have to use the phone, please, let me know that you need to use it, and I'll. And so I would say, I said what you would say. I wasn't on the phone. What do you mean? He takes out of his pocket this little silver thing, and he presses it, and he plays back my conversation with my boss.
Oh my gosh!
Yes, you're laughing.
Oh my gosh.
It wasn't funny, Christine.
Oh.
It was very scary.
So
they had them then. They had that stuff then. Like Disney had an audio recorder then, like a tiny one that you would use like in a pen, like a James Bond thing. You know what I mean? He's laughing at me.
No, it's funny.
It wasn't funny then. I was crapping my pants. Anyway, so I get up, I go in, we go into this house, sheetrock walls with spackle dots still on them. I'm like, I'm about to be killed. I'm about to be shot in the back of the head. I was convinced that was going to happen. We walk down this hallway, and there's a door. He opens the door, and there's a metal gate behind the door. He opens the metal gate. We get into an elevator. The other two guys are on the elevator already. It's like, what is it? Why does this guy need backup? I mean, what, really? I'm like, not a physical threat at all. I get in, he shuts the door, he shuts the metal gate. We go down about 2 stories underground. We walk down this hallway once we get off the elevator, open up another door, and I'm telling you, I know exactly how Dorothy felt walking into the land of Oz, because it was like an explosion of like color and activity, and like there were colors that I never even seen before. I mean, it was like you thought you saw the color blue. You've never seen the color blue until you've been to this place. Paper airplanes flying around, Mickey Mouse balloon, like the balloon head with the ears, like just floating around, just on the ceiling, like helium balloons. It was the most amazing sight I think I've ever seen in my life, okay? And these guys show me to my room. Like, you're underground, and yet there's daylight. Like, what's the word I'm looking for? They,
recreated daylight?
Recreated, but, like, there's another word, replicated. They replicated daylight down there. Like, you're underground.
What is
it? They replicated daylight. What?
What is it?
It's just a room underground, but it's like it goes on for like what felt like for miles. I'm sure it's not miles, but it felt like it was like a whole like biosphere down there, like a science project they were doing. They showed me to my room. I never wanted for anything. There was always fruit. There was always food. There was whatever I wanted, I had. And I'm talking if I wanted name brand something, I had it. Dr. Pepper, here you go. Like, who has Dr. Pepper around? Who has Orangina besides Sebastian Maniscalco? Who keeps that stuff like within an arm's reach? You know what I mean? So I was there to train the animators on how to use this machine. So finally, after the whole thing, like I kind of like wrapped my head around what was going on. Now is time. The next day I have to go and train a bunch of animators in this kind of amphitheater kind of a setup where I'm on the stage with a computer and there's a big screen behind me so they can see what I'm doing. They're all sitting there with their pads and all everything. So I'm showing them how to use 3D modeling. So we start off with stuff like, the guy asked me, hey, can you take like a texture like marble and like, wrap it around like a square or a cube? I say, sure, this is how you do that. So you take a picture of some marble, you scan it in, and then you take that texture and you wrap it around a shape, right? So that's how so we were just doing shapes. We weren't doing people yet. That wasn't even being done yet. It's just mostly shapes, race cars, that kind of stuff we were doing, 3D. And setting it to a frame rate of like 30 seconds a frame, 30 frames a second, 29.7 frames a second, stuff like that. And we're putting it to like moving video. Then they're like, well, can you make like, can you duplicate that cylinder that you put the marble on? Sure. So I just made 12 of them. Oh, now can you wrap that around like an arc kind of a thing? Can you arc it? Oh, sure. So I show them how to do that. And I show them how to do all this stuff. I had no idea what I was building until later, meaning after I got back to New Jersey. As I'm on break and I'm walking around, someone comes up to me and says, hey, Frank, you've been kind of like, knowing your way around here. Would you mind giving somebody a tour? We have a guest. Would you mind giving them a tour? There's no one around here to give them a tour. I'm like, yeah, I don't really know. Sure. I mean, why not? I don't care. Whatever. I'm underground. I'm not going. Yeah, you can't leave.
Yeah.
You can't leave.
How many people are under there?
There was at least 35 people under there.
Wow.
At least. It was under 40, but it was, and it was constant mayhem, constant movement, constant action, constant music. I mean, it was insane. You think Alabama's been to Disney? Yeah. Alabama has not been to Disney.
Wow.
Alabama, when she looks down that glass bubble, oh, look at all the animators. Those aren't animators. They're not going to show you what they're working on. Are you kidding me? Those are actors who can draw. That's all they are. And then why? And if that's what they're working on, then why are they still drawing Bambi? If this is what you're working on, Bambi, that's been done already. What are you talking? No one questions this anyway. Like, what's the matter with you? What are you doing? Anyway, so the guy that they have now on a tour, he comes down, and it's Chuck Jones, like my idol.
Wait, who's that?
Who's that?
Oh no!
Did you just ask me who's Chuck Jones?
Yeah.
Bugs Bunny, Daffy Duck, Yosemite Sam, Porky Pig, Elmer Fudd. Are you kidding me?
I'm sorry.
Wile E. Coyote, the Roadrunner.
Well, he drew.
Are you
He
Tweety
drew all
Bird,
of those.
Sylvester? He drew all of those, and Mel Blanc did the voice.
I knew the Mel Blanc part, but I didn't
Mel
know.
Blanc, not Mel Blanc.
Well, I don't know. I'm thinking of the way it's spelled.
Listen, Mel Blanc will be the first one to tell you it's blank. It's like Ralph Lauren. It's not Ralph Lauren. It's Ralph Lauren. He's from the Bronx. Please.
Okay, so anyway, he was there.
He was there visiting, so I got to give my idol a tour,
Wow.
a little less than 3 hours. I had lunch with him, just me and him. He gave me his book, Chuck-a-Muck, with Daffy Duck on the cover. He signed it for me. I was like, I just met my idol of idols, and he told me a lot about the characters. Like Roadrunner was based on him, and Wile E. Coyote is based on him. The Roadrunner is based on his wife, and he would always try and do these stupid things to try and catch her or obtain her. He would always be pursuing her, and she would never give him the time of day. She would just go on her merry way, and he'd always be chasing her. And he goes, and that didn't change when we got married. I'm like, oh, like me. My wife still makes me chase her around. I've known my wife since 1986. I'm still chasing her around the house. She still makes me earn it, which is fine. But, because I love my wife. In any event, who you've met. Anyway, so long story made even longer. Chuck Jones, I got to do that whole thing, and then went back, got a lot of secrets about Disney, about the stuff that they do. Like, I don't know if you're familiar with this, but when Little Mermaid first came out, the art director that was on that job found out that he was going to be terminated once this project was done. So what did he do? Is on the video case and the posters, he there's a whole castle behind Little Mermaid there. He put a big gold penis right in the middle of it. And you can Google that. That's still online.
Oh my God!
And no one caught it. It was expertly done.
Wow.
There's tons of stuff like that. There's a scene in The Lion King when the Lion King is not Simba. Mm-hmm. So Simba, voiced by Matthew Broderick, another Sarah Jessica Parker Italian, because they're married. But Simba goes. And he rests his head on the ground, and it causes some dirt to kind of spill up. And he's looking at the stars, and the dirt and the stars, very briefly for about 2 frames, spell out the word sex.
What?
You gotta go watch The Lion King and
deep
pause
Disney.
it. It's cool. It's funny because the animators weren't having any bit of it. Now this goes back all the way to Bambi. Okay. Now remember, I'm in the middle of a forest. Okay. I was asking one of the animators, they were talking to me, and they says, we have an intercom system here that we still use to this day. I'm like, really? Intercoms? They still use it? He goes, yeah, we don't really, this is what we use. So we were using it back in Walt's time. And I'm like, really? How so? So he told me this story. He goes, there's a scene in Bambi where Bambi and his mom are running through the woods, and they're hearing gunshots. And so they're running. And they get to a clearing, the gunshots stop, and Bambi says to his mama, Mama, what was that? And Mama says, well, Bambi, man was in the forest, right? Okay. Man is in the forest was a code word all the animators would use on the intercom whenever Walt came into the studio. They would say, man is in the forest.
Oh,
man is in the forest. It means Walt's here. You better get your shit together because he was not a nice guy.
Wow.
I mean, he was focused. He didn't have time to make friends. He knew what he wanted to do. He knew what he wanted. He took what he can get. It was just whatever the type of guy he was. Whatever. I'm not judging the guy. I'm just saying he was a hard man. Fair man, I think at times, but I think Disney kind of lost a lot of his vision that was originally intended for it to be, and they've just become like this other thing. So anyway. I finally get back home. By the way, the agents, the Matrix guys, the Men in Black, when it came time for me to leave, those guys, they took me back to the airport and everything, they were the funniest guys you'd ever meet in your life. Because they would, at this point now, they're just joking. They're nothing like, they're not wearing the glasses. Well, the driver was wearing the glasses. But the 2 other guys weren't wearing the glasses. One of them is named Jake, so apparently Bob knew Jake. And I'm telling you, they were the funniest, some of the funniest guys I've ever met in my life.
So what
these
was
guys.
the
They were
whole
total
ruse
cut-ups.
of being so secretive, and why is it so secretive?
Well, here's the thing. I was on a 25-year gag order. I had to sign a piece of paper that said I would not discuss, I would not, let the story out about how they operate, because every 25 to 30 years, they change the way they do things.
Really?
So I don't even know what the setup is in Florida anymore. I have no idea what it's like, but every 25 years, every 25 to 30 years, they change things up so that if anybody does like talk about it, it's like, oh, okay, well, we checked it out and it's not like that. It's like, well, but you know what's cool? I have that experience. Nobody can take it away from me, and I don't really care.
Crazy.
Now here's a cool part though, Chris, that this sums up to. We're back in New York, New Jersey. Bob says to me, "Oh, we're going on this trade show. I want you to come with me." I'm like, "Okay, cool." So we fly to Georgia or something. I forgot where it was. And we go to a trade show, and then at the night, you go for dinner and whatever. He goes, "Hey, why don't we grab some dinner? We'll grab a movie or whatever." And I'm like, "Yeah, okay, movie, fine. What do you want to see?" He goes, "Hey, I got this Beauty and the Beast. Why don't we check that out?" And I'm like, "Beauty and the Beast? Like, why would I see that?
Yeah.
With a 65-year-old dude? It's just
right.
me and him." I was like in my 20s. I'm like, that's a little weird. Why would I? Okay, so I go, and Bob wasn't like a pedophile or anything. He was just, he was who he is. But I always thought that was weird. Why are we going to see this? So we get in, and the whole Disney-esque thing, and listen, the Beast doesn't come in till a good half hour into the movie. So I'm sitting there for a half hour thinking, why did he want to come and see this with me? Not even his granddaughter, me, okay? It was me and him in the theater. And let me tell you, Chris, I don't know if you saw the movie. Did you see the movie?
I don't know, maybe.
Well, all right, spoiler alert. There's some 3D in the movie, first of its kind. The doors open in this one scene with Beauty and the Beast, and they walk into this 3D generated ballroom scene. And as soon as that opened up, I looked up and I was like, oh my God! That was the room. I didn't design the room in the movie, but that was the room that I did the tutorial. I trained these guys on how to make, and I saw my columns on an arc, just like they asked me to. And I'm like, wow, this is what I was teaching them to do. And if you go to franksasso.com and click Frank, you can see the original schematic that I did of the ballroom scene, and then the one how it compares in the movie. Wow. And I also worked on backgrounds for Little Mermaid also while I was there. That was a lot of fun too. But it was a lot of fun. I worked on Ren and Stimpy since then. I was the chief remote penciler for Stimpy on 23 episodes. Chester Cheeto, remember that Chester Cheeto? It's not easy being cheesy. Yeah, I hate that whole thing.
I like that.
Cool Whip
I like
commercials,
that.
Stuff like that. I've seen some of your commercials. Very well done, by the way. But
you are so talented. I'm really
so that's
impressed.
what happened. That's my Disney story, man.
So you're calling it the dark side of Disney because
you're calling it that.
No, you call.
You said I have two titles. What do you think?
No, but in other words, this isn't a negative thing about the company. This is just how it works.
No, it's just it was very, very unnerving getting in that Jeep and getting out of it and putting a blindfold on.
And you were in Orlando.
It was in Orlando, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I went to Universal, yeah.
Yeah, why were they putting on such an act? I just don't understand why they're putting on that act with you, to take you in the middle of the woods and you're all of a sudden you see this big house and then you go down. I mean, what is all that secrecy?
I don't know. Are you seriously asking me this? Why did they do that?
Well, what do you guys talk about when you were down there and you're talking to other people that are regular
I'm
and they're
just talking
working?
to animators. Oh, no, I was just saying.
Doesn't anybody say, can you believe this shit?
Oh, no. No, none of them are saying that. I'm the one saying that.
Right.
I said I was afraid to eat the fruit that was in the basket in my room the first day.
I bet.
I'm like, what if this is drugged? I don't know what they're going to do.
I know. I mean, I feel like you're taking an acid trip through Small World.
Right.
It's just a wild story.
Through Small World.
So at one point, then you were working for Disney.
Yeah, well, I wasn't an employee. I mean, I went down there because they were our client, so I had to go down there and train them. But yeah.
But so you're. I know this is so stupid. You're an independent contractor. That's what I meant to say.
No. When I was working for Disney, I was working a job at a company, and they were a client of the company. So the company
I'm just trying to think.
sent me to train them. I was an employee of the company.
I get it. Okay.
Yeah.
And then that's why you went. Okay, I'm
Yeah.
just sorry. I'm putting it together, man. Look,
I said
sometimes
this in
it's
the
really
beginning of
hard
the show.
to understand
Yeah.
different people's occupation because it's so broad.
Well, but-
like you say you're a penciler. Nobody would have ever imagined then because you were a penciler
Yeah.
and you were really good at drawing, you ended up getting to go down to Orlando to this bunker and see this stuff. It's just
Yeah. Well,
interesting.
it's
It's
because-
wild where it can take you.
It's because I was one of the only people that knew how to operate this machine. So that's why they sent me. Because the other person
Wow.
was in Amsterdam. They sent her to Amsterdam.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did she have a good trip?
Yeah, I guess she was fine. Never heard anything kind of weird about that trip.
Yeah, you didn't hear about her
was like-
experience in the red light
Yeah, it was like
district.
for like Pan Am or something, whatever the reason they needed
Yeah.
when they were still in business. No, but why would you get that, a penciler? Why would you know that? That's like saying
I know. It's just really interesting. Yeah, it's
that's
great.
like saying, are you Jewish by any chance?
No, I'm not Jewish.
All right, so I have a Jewish joke for you, okay? Now,
Okay.
you're not going to get this because you're not Jewish, but I'm going to say it
My
anyway.
boyfriend's Jewish.
Okay, so what's your boyfriend's first name?
Tom.
Tom. Okay, Tom. I got a joke for you, Tom. These two Gentile business owners, were standing on the corner, and one says to the other, "How's business?" And the other one said, "Great." See, you're not laughing because you're not Jewish.
I'm still not sure I get it.
Okay,
Is that it?
So these two non-Jewish guys were talking.
Right, and one says to the other one, "How's business?" And he goes, "Great."
Okay, let me put it to you this way: this non-Jewish guy calls his mom, right?
Uh-huh.
He had plans to go over there for dinner, but something
Right.
came up and he couldn't make it. So the guy calls his mother and says, "Hey, Ma, it's Tom, right? Or I'm sorry, it's Matt." And she goes, "Hi, Matt. I'm looking forward to tonight." "Oh, listen, that's why I'm calling. I can't make it tonight. Something came up. I can't get out of it. I can't make it." So the mother said, "Okay." See, you're not Jewish, so you don't get that joke.
And it's funny because a Jewish mother would never just
Right.
say, "Okay."
That's the
I
joke.
Get it. I get
Oh,
it.
my
I get
goodness.
it. No, I
How's
get
business?
it. I'm just,
Great.
and then that's the end. No, that would never happen. There always has to be more drama.
Right.
Oh yeah, that
Now,
I am
I'm not Jewish
aware of
either.
that.
I'm not Jewish
Right.
either. But I heard that
Yeah.
joke from a Jewish guy.
Yeah, no, it's kind of funny.
Yeah.
I do stand up a lot, and I do this thing about how, I was in the Peace Corps, and I'm definitely like a hippie chick, as it were. And so all the guys I've ever dated in my life, including my two husbands, everybody was like
My two
a camping.
husbands. It sounds like a sitcom.
Everybody was kind of like a camping guy,
Right.
Outdoorsy guy, and now I date a Jew. And that's the end of the joke. So there, you get it. I'll get it. It's not anti-Semitic. It's just funny.
No, why does everything have to be like an insulting
I'm not
thing?
saying it
It's
is.
not
I'm just putting that.
I agree
I'm
with
putting
you.
that disclosure on the show.
Yeah.
Hey, listen,
agree with
I've
you.
really enjoyed talking to you, Frank,
I
and
love
I
talking to you.
encourage. Yeah, you're funny, man, and I really encourage anybody out there who is starting a podcast or getting into the process to go to New Pod City and check it out, newpodcity.com, because you do offer a lot of different services.
Not only that, but if you mention that you heard about New Pod City on Storyworthy, I will give you a 20% discount
Wow.
that we
That's
lock
very
in.
kind of
So
you.
we'll lock you in to a 20% off whatever tier membership you pick. We'll lock it in at 20% off for the lifetime.
Why are you being
for the
so
lifetime of it.
nice? Why are you being so nice?
What, I have to explain why I'm being nice? How come when people say, "Hey, why are you being so mean?" I can understand that. Why are you being so nice? All right, you know what?
Say it
Forget
like,
it. No.
I
Forget
didn't
it. Storyworthy listeners, you can pay full price. Screw you.
Screw yous. By the way, you probably can't read my shirt because it's like there's letters written, but it's
is it?
written.
Jacob?
Anyway, it says "jag off," and that's
Jag
a Pittsburgh.
off.
Yeah,
All
and
right,
that's a
that's
Pittsburgh saying
Huh.
because I'm from Pittsburgh.
Okay.
So you say "use guys,"
So
and
you say
that's a
Jagov.
I say "jag." Well, not for "use guys."
Why are you
but
being
I'm
so
not-
mean?
Jag off.
Gee, well, I don't understand. There's no call for that.
No, that is very cool of you. newpodcity.com. Check that out, you guys.
Newpodcity.com. Pick a membership, 20% off. Leave me an email that you've heard about this on Storyworthy. And
yeah,
we'll
mention
talk.
my name. Boy, I'll tell you what. You mention my name, you get a lot of stuff
A little
all over the
Blackburn
place.
action.
You know?
Blackburn.
Yeah, you throw my name out at the grocery store, the gas station.
I love the last name. I just might do a T-shirt, Blackburn. I've been Blackburned instead of blackballed. Blackburned. That's going to be a new thing. Oh, she Blackburned. Yeah, she Blackburned.
I like the last name Blackburn too, only because I like when it's easy to spell.
What does it mean?
I don't know, but it's from England, and if you remember the song, A Day in the Life, when they said 4,000 holes in Blackburn, Lancashire.
Yeah.
There you go.
That's
where it's from. And also there's the Blackburn Rovers, and that's a soccer team that does well. All right, you guys, listen one more time on behalf of the very talented Frank Sasso. Make sure you let him know you enjoyed his story today, and you can tweet him over there at New Pod City, and also follow me there at Storyworthy. All right, you guys, one more time on behalf of the very talented Frank Sasso. Thank you.
Thank you, Blackburn. Looking forward to the Podstock with you.
Oh, yeah, that'll be fun.
Yes.
My name is Christine Blackburn, saying, make it a story worthy.
You can follow me. I'll take you down to the river. Follow me. I'll keep you silent.
Thanks for joining us on the Storyworthy Podcast. We'll be back next week with all new stories. Subscribe to Storyworthy on iTunes and visit the Storyworthy website at storyworthypodcast.com.
I'll keep you satisfied.
Membership fees apply after free trial. Cancel anytime.
Can I be real for a second? That goal you have to exercise and eat better, you really can do it, but nobody is going to do it for you. And nobody has to, because you can do it if you have the right tools and a community that cares about helping you get results. And that's us, Beachbody. It's as convenient as your TV or laptop, but you need to decide that you're worth it. Let us help you succeed. Here's how. Go to beachbody.com to claim your free membership and start feeling great.
You could save big when you bundle your home and auto with Progressive, but when we just come out and say it, it feels like it falls a bit flat. So instead, we're going to hire a professional voice actor and pay him absurd amounts of money to say,
I like this product.
Not sure why that was better. I mean, I'm a professional too, but we didn't pay him to say the business part, so back to me. Save big when you bundle your home and auto with Progressive. Sorry, I know hearing me say it was a bit of a letdown. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Discount not available in all states or situations.
Hello, saver. Whether you're saving for that trip to the tropics or saving for an emergency, now is the time to take advantage of Wells Fargo's savings options. Wells Fargo offers savings accounts that can help you save towards your goals. So, what are you saving for? Visit a Wells Fargo branch or wellsfargo.com/save to open a savings account today.
Wells Fargo Bank, N.A., member FDIC.